Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Investigators say last month's huge Rockford fire was no accident, and they believe they've found 2 people responsible. COVID restrictions have hit certain businesses particularly hard. Rockford steers some money their way to help them survive and stay safe. A pair of vaccines show promise to protect us during the pandemic, but experts worry certain parts of the country present some challenges making sure people stay healthy. Good evening, I'm Eric Wilson. Mimi Murphy is off tonight. We begin with an update to this massive fire last month at an abandoned Rockford factory. 2 people are now in custody. These men are charged with criminal damage to property and burglary. Police arrested Sean Haug 2 weeks ago on an unrelated drug charge. The fire happened October 24th. It burned for hours. You could see smoke miles away. The former plant had been empty since 1997. It was slated for demolition. Investigators did not say how the fire started. The COVID positivity rate drops in 7 Region 1 counties. Winnebago, Stevenson, and Lee counties are among them. Only 2 increased, Ogle and Boone counties. Boone remains above 30%. DeKalb County has the lowest rate at 15.6%. Overall, the region is just under 20%. The state reported 8 people in our area died from COVID-19. The youngest was a man in his 50s. The oldest were in their 90s. Those deaths were in Winnebago, Stevenson, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. Starting tomorrow, Oregon schools will switch to remote learning for 2 weeks. In a letter to parents, Superintendent Thomas Mahoney said too many staff members are in quarantine and the virus is spreading among students. The district has 14 positive cases. Students who didn't have a Chromebook were provided one before they went home today. Those laptops will have to be returned to the district when in-person classes resume December 3rd. Oregon isn't alone in making the switch. Harlem and Freeport schools are remote until the 30th. Dixon will switch to remote on the 23rd, and Northern Illinois University will be online only starting November 30th. Each of them reported an increase in cases as the reason for the move. Businesses no doubt have had a tough time staying open since March, and with more mitigation measures as well as winter settling in soon, they need more help than ever. Ari Bruckman reports on Rockford's latest strategy to do just that.
Patrick Alberto is trying to balance the books as he tries to keep his restaurant, Octane, afloat during the pandemic.
Well, we're down to at least 30-35% from last year.
That translates into thousands of dollars. Customers are down, but costs remain the same.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow.
That's why he hopes to cash in on a new grant from the city. Businesses like Octane can receive up to $7,500. All they have to do is apply.
It'll give us, a small boost for when things get dire, when in the middle of the winter where most people would not want to go out and eat.
The city is offering $900,000 for restaurants and bars that are struggling this year.
It would help us with the overall cost of at least a weekly or monthly operation.
We're looking for bars and restaurants that had a significant disruption. So that's a greater than 10% decrease in average monthly revenue in 2020 as opposed to 2019.
And with winter just around the corner, Rockford's Director of Community and Economic Development, Carl Franzen, says this grant money could help save businesses.
It's getting colder, and the outdoor dining and some of the streamline flexibilities that the city of Rockford has provided are kind of going away with that. And of course, obviously entering into additional mitigations coming this Friday. Certainly a nice time to be rolling this out.
Businesses have until the 30th to apply. Franzen tells me the grants will be handed out to businesses by mid-December. In Rockford, for your home team, I'm Ari Bruckman.
One important note about those grants, the city tells us businesses that have been flagged for violating the state's COVID-19 guidelines repeatedly to the point of being fined are not eligible for that program. The Winnebago County Health Department orders 10 businesses to close, saying none of them have any intention to comply with the governor's executive order. All 10 are bars or restaurants in Loves Park, Rockford, South Beloit, and Cherry Valley. The health department says all of them have been turned into the state's attorney to decide if they will go to court. The businesses could face fines or lose their liquor and gaming licenses through the state. We've posted the list on our website. Check it out if you want at mystateline.com. As two large pharmaceutical companies close in on a COVID-19 vaccine, state and local health departments create plans to distribute the medicine. But Jesse Tenor shows us those efforts could hit roadblocks in rural communities where there are fewer health facilities. Eyewitness News keeps you connected to the nation's capital.
Two coronavirus vaccines are within arm's reach, but polls show some Americans are still skeptical about taking them.
Reassure folks that it's safe and they should come get it.
Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy hopes the rollout, starting with healthcare workers and nursing homes, makes everyone else more confident.
If your neighbor's a nurse in a rural hospital and you really have a high regard for her, I think it will make you feel more comfortable the fact that 2 months later she's doing great.
Cassidy, a doctor himself, is working to help states reach underserved populations and solve storage and distribution problems in rural areas.
It's challenging because of the cold chain requirement for some of the vaccines, but we know it's possible.
Different vaccines require separate distribution plans, but Dr. Moncef Slaoui, the chief advisor for the Trump administration's Operation Warp Speed, says agreements with CVS and Walgreens will help rural areas.
These vaccines will be available there.
There are also concerns about how the controversial transition of power from the Trump White House to a Biden administration could impact vaccine distribution.
More people may die if we don't coordinate.
President-elect Joe Biden continued to pressure the Trump administration this week to share its plan.
It puts us behind.
But Cassidy argues the vaccine companies have their own distribution strategies.
No matter who the president is, this is going to go forward.
With the first rollout possibly just weeks away. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Dr. Slaoui predicts the entire U.S. population could be vaccinated as early as June. More than $1 million are coming to help state-line museums. Most of that will go to Rockford's Burpee Museum and Discovery Center. Burpee will use it for an HVAC project. Discovery will use its share to fund Phase 4 of the museum's capital improvement project. Midway Village and Byron's Underground Railroad Station will get a combined $300,000. The race for the White House isn't over yet. President Donald Trump paid $3 million to get the ball rolling on a recount for 2 Wisconsin counties. Those are Milwaukee and Dane. Both went to Joe Biden. Trump's campaign claims the county clerks there wrongfully added missing information on returned absentee ballots. Not all voters were required to present a photo ID, and absentee ballots were issued without voters applying for them. If the recount's approved, it could start as early as tomorrow. It would have to be finished by December 1st. We should know the results of Illinois' 90th district race between incumbent Representative Tom Demmer and Seth Wiggins tomorrow. Votes had to be retabulated due to an error on election night. Ogle County Clerk told us the machines misread the oval marks on the ballot specifically for that race. Once the results are in, we will tell you on air and online at mystateline.com.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
It's been a windy one for us this afternoon. We've had plenty of sunshine, although a little more filtered sun out there. Live look with our Mercial SkyTrack camera out over downtown Rockford. You can actually see a little bit of that clearing as the sun does set for us this evening. But the winds, they have been the big story here today, at times gusting 35 to even 40 miles per hour. Now, still this evening, that wind gusted about 35 miles per hour in Rockford, 26 in Janesville, 26 in Freeport. And these will come down just a bit, but still at around 35 miles per hour, even as we go through the night tonight and during the day tomorrow. Notice tomorrow morning that wind will be gusting close to 40 miles per hour. So this, as we go through the day tomorrow, will actually elevate, just like today, that fire risk, because we're bringing our temperature up and the wind is increasing too. Now, the strongest of the winds will be during the first half of the day tomorrow, and as we get into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, that wind will eventually begin to die down. But that wind still coming in from the south will allow that temperature to climb about 10 degrees warmer than where we were today. Numbers right now at 45 in Freeport, 47 in Rockford, we're 44 in Rochelle, but notice the wind chill factor in the 30s. So So even though we've had that southerly wind, it's been a little bit on the colder side. Now our weather watcher Bob in Rockford checking in this evening with 48 degrees and a dew point number of 27. We've actually noticed a little bit more moisture going up here for us this evening. And we've also had an increase in cloud cover. That's because we've got a ridge of high pressure building just off to our west. So it's actually pulling in some moisture from the west and northwest. That ridge of high pressure is going to flatten during the day tomorrow, and that's still going to keep some of that cloud cover with us as we go throughout the afternoon. So more of that filtered sunshine tomorrow. As we go through the day tomorrow, winds will be on the gusty side. Temperatures will warm into the 60s for the afternoon. There is a cold front that will come through, however, late Thursday night and into Friday. That cold front is going to come through dry. That's because high pressure down over the south and southeast really scouring out any moisture from returning back north. And that moisture is actually going to be limited a bit as we go into the weekend. That boundary turns into a stationary boundary. High pressure builds up to the north of us. That high pressure system actually looking a little bit more on the strong side, feeding that easterly wind and that drier air. So this means our rain chance for the weekend also going down a bit. Notice the rain here. This is Saturday afternoon and evening, staying more confined where that stationary boundary lies, down to the south over central and southern Illinois. Now we might see that increase a little bit Saturday night and then going into Sunday, but temperatures for the weekend are going to be on the cooler side. We'll stay in the 40s and we'll still keep some of that cloud cover. Now we're going to jump ahead into next week, because while Thanksgiving Day itself looks quiet, leading up to it, we might have another system we've got to watch during the Tuesday time frame. Another area of low pressure building in. This will pull in more moisture, which could lead to more rain here as we head towards Tuesday afternoon. Initially, depending on how how quick we warm up, we might see a couple of snow showers before that, and then kind of on the back side of that Wednesday. But right now, Thanksgiving Day itself looks quiet. Little cloud cover, temperatures close to 50 degrees for next Thursday afternoon. So we're 44 tonight, staying mild. Filtered moons shine out there as we hold on to some of those cirrus clouds. Temperature tomorrow up to 64 for the afternoon. Now remember, with that wind though, it's probably going to feel a little bit cooler just because that wind at times will be gusting 35 miles per hour. 59 as we head into Friday, 47 both Saturday and Sunday, 45 as we head towards Monday, but warming up a little bit, Eric, and still staying even just a bit above average closer to Thanksgiving.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
It is time for the Bulls' new management team to start reshaping the Bulls in its own image. It starts tonight with the NBA draft. The Bulls will have the 4th pick overall. The guy I like for the Bulls at that spot is Deni Avdija. He's the foreign player, the best foreign player in the draft. He's a 6'9" small forward from Israel. What I like about him is he's a high IQ player who understands the game. He's not a score-first guy, he's a pass-first guy. He's an excellent playmaker who makes his teammates better on the offensive end. The Bulls have enough scores right now with Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Kobe White, and Otto Porter Jr. They need a facilitator who's a coach on the floor. The only question is, will Avdija still be there when the Bulls' pick comes up at number 4, or will the Bulls trade up a notch or two to try to get him? And the Bears are hurting at quarterback with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles both ailing, so they brought in former Packers backup Deshaun Kaiser for a tryout. Kaiser played in 3 games for the Packers in 2018. He was with the Raiders last year but didn't play. He's currently a free agent. He's best known for his college days at Notre Dame. Matt Nagy has raved for the past 3 years about the great culture on the Bears team. That culture is getting tested right now. Nagy says he won't let this team come off the rails.
There's 2 choices. You either quit or you fight. And I know what we're going to do. I don't think I have to say it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to attack at full speed ahead. And that's the only decision that anybody in this building will do while I'm here as a leader of this team.
The NIU Huskies are trying to fight through their own adversity. They're off to an 0-2 start that included an ugly 40-10 loss last week to Central Michigan. Tonight, they're playing at Ball State. Thomas Hammock says they're taking their lumps, but a lot of freshmen are getting some valuable experience.
To say we had 6 freshmen start last week, to me, is exciting. I think these guys will continue to make jumps and strides. I think you got a bunch of young guys out there that's growing each and every week.
The wind continues to be the big story for us. We've got a few clouds out there. Our first warn interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Temperatures tonight in the mid-40s. Winds will still be gusting at about 35 miles per hour. And that'll continue into tomorrow, but temperatures, Eric, in the 60s.
Thanks, Candice. Stay safe.